Oh, okay. Well, that seems to work. Well, to the probably surprise of nobody who's attended these streams before, I just realized that there was a really easy way to start this thing up that I was bypassing every time. So that's something. I tell you. Okay. All right, let's move the keyboard here. Oh, I do need to paste to post. I need to paste post. Oh boy, never mind. I need to take my link here. Whoop, and I need to copy. Oh, it's right there already. Paste. How is it there already? Yeah, whatever, who cares. Paste. Wait, I'm in the wrong spot. Let me look here. I'm in the wrong spot. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. That's where I need to be. Paste. And oh, that's nice. Wow. Boy, so I posted some really nice photos of the moon. Huh, it's pretty cool. Oops, I keep clicking the wrong button. Oh, because my mouse or my keyboard is slightly off from where it usually is. Keep forgetting. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Boom, boom, boom. There we are. Okay. We're gonna post in one more place, which is right here. And that is it. I will move the keyboard, though, in case anybody shows up for the chat. Even though I could probably just respond vocally. All right, so I can close Discord now. I don't need Discord anymore. Perfect, perfect. Did it send out an alert? See, it's the only thing is I don't know if it sent out an alert. Because I didn't get a thing on my phone. Oh, yeah, no, there it is. It came in. It just didn't make a noise. That's fine. Did I accidentally silence my phone? Oh, whatever. Okay, no, it's working. Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay, so let me just post on. I am a little tired today, so that yawn, unlike most times, makes some sense to me this time. Okay. All right. Okay. Add link card. Post. Post. Thank you. And let's go to here. And we will post. Okay. Boy, I am sorry about the yawning, but it's just how it is. It really does. It's. I don't like. It's just the way it is. It's fine. But I wish that. I wish that all the people I followed had bailed on Twitter and gone over to Blue Sky. But that's okay. It's okay. That's just the way it is. All right, it's posted everywhere. Now we're done with posting. Now we gotta hook up the old reflector. Let's get reflector. Running in the background. Oh, I forgot I'm doing it horizontally. I don't know if I talked about the fact that I had tried to get a nice leather case for my iPad. And I'm not going to mention the company because I don't want to throw the company under the bus because I actually think their case was exceptionally well made, but it did not fit my iPad. And they tried to send me another one, and it also did not fit my iPad. So I finally had to say, okay, I guess this is not meant for my iPad. I don't know. Oh, I'm really sorry about that. Part of it, I think, is the way they have their case designed, which is fine. I mean, it's their case. They can design it however they want. But I wish they would rethink one aspect of it, because I think some of the reason is because of the design of their case, which I get the philosophy of, but if I get a case, it has to cover up the whole iPad. This is not a play device for me. It has to protect this thing. And to do that, I require my cases to latch to all four corners securely. Gotta drink water there, which this case did not. And I have a hunch that was by design, but I also think that that was part of the reason why it did not work for me. So, hey, that's the way it goes. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Just sometimes things don't work out. So let's see. What are we going to work on this evening? Sorry about the yawning. I am legitimately sorry about the yawning. Let me just copy. Oh no, I already did that. Okay, I can get rid of that. Okay, so Shodan's done. Still kind of stunned that Shodan's done. I spent so long working on that thing that it is strange to me that it's finished, but it is finished. You know what I'm gonna do? Very quickly, before I forget, I just need to do a quick. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like how long has it been on? How long has the stream been on? Wow, 6 minutes. Oh, jeez. Okay, sorry. I didn't realize it was battling on for this long. Ugh, I am a bit tired. So for once, the yawning is not for no reason. It is because I am actually tired. All right, I'm gonna jump back into the mini disc here. I have a bunch of empty space on this image that I don't need. So let's go ahead and run our opening. There we are. And we will continue work on this. I do need to see. I definitely have to do more detail here. Here we go. All right, perfect. Okay, so you should be seeing you. There's nobody here. But if somebody was watching, they would be seeing this. Oh, my left eye has been... I have a hunch that I really am sorry. I wanted to make sure I still did my stream for this week because I've been off. I was like, okay, I got my schedule, and then I've missed it. I mean, I've done still 2 streams, but it's just annoying because I just set the schedule, got everything working, and then sure enough, I've missed 2 of the Tuesdays that I aimed to do the stream just because I had show stuff I had to do. Oops. What is that? Is that oh, that's an actual. That's actually something. That's that. What is that? Why is that there? That's all that's there? Oh, no. That's there's more to it. I was going to say that can't be all of it. It's not. All right. Oh, and now I'm going to sneeze. So let me... Oh, boy. I am just, yeah. I'm in really professional streaming mode all over the place tonight. Okay, so this is that's the mini disc itself. Where are the pencil lines? Oh, here it is. Okay. I do need some of this. So let me link all these colors up so that I can group those, and that way I can turn them off when I don't need them. Okay. That can't be all the sketches. Oh, it's not. Okay, so we can turn... Oh, that's subdermals. Turn off the subdermals. Turn on shadows. Oh, I was going to do the little lines. Now I remember. I was going to do the little lines in between the muscles. So let's turn the sketches back off. We'll go in here nice and tight. And we will put those above this. Switch to true black. Let's make sure. I need a very thin line for that. Thinner than that. I need thinner than that. Let's see. What am I on? 5? Try 3. How's 3? Let's see what 3. 3's good. Okay. So now, and of course there's a hair on the iPad. A little eyelash. Get out of here, eyelash. Okay. I don't think that's supposed to give you luck or anything. I don't think. Alright, let's start doing our... you know what? There should be one more line there. Hold on. That's going to bug me because it doesn't seem even. Actually, no, that's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. So we're on a separate layer. Let's make sure. Yep, layer empty. Perfect. And let's just start doing the... I don't know what these lines are called in terms of the actual musculature, but each of these tendons, is it? Whatever these are, have these little lines that go through them. So we're going to put those in there. And as I often do, I'm going to alternate layers so that if I have to erase anything, it's not going to be too much of an issue. Ooh, not like that, though. So 2 days ago, in case any of you noticed, I posted a new time-lapse image on the channel yesterday. And that time-lapse was from my trip up to the... what do they call it? I think they call it the East Side Studios, I think they refer to that location as. But the Twit network, twit.tv, has not had any people in studio for a recording of their This Week in Tech show, which I think they would say that's their flagship show. It's the one that the network is basically named after, This Week in Tech, Twit. And yeah, they haven't had people in their studios since the pandemic started back in 2020. And so they welcomed people back in, club members, which I am one. I am a Club Twit member. Do I still have that image somewhere? Let me look this up. I just want to see where where the lines are supposed to be. I'm just going to pull up a web browser in the background here and look up hand muscles. So I'm a Club Twit member and have been for quite a while. And so they said, okay, Club Twit members, if you'd like to come and see a taping of the show, not taping, taping's a very old term for it, a recording of the show, go ahead and sign up. And this was the first one, and I jumped right on it because why not? And so I got to go up there, and it was great because, you know, like I said, they haven't had anybody wisely. I mean, they were really... I actually admit I felt a little bad because one of the employees had a mask on, and I almost wore a mask, but I knew that they were all vaccinated, and I knew they were all taking precautions. I tested myself in the morning just to be sure, even though I had no symptoms or any reason to think I had anything. I just felt like I should test just in case because it can be asymptomatic, and I thought, you know what? Maybe some of these people are legitimately still concerned for whatever reason. And I almost did wear a mask. But I'd seen different stuff, and I thought that none of the employees there wore masks anymore. And I felt relatively safe in there because, like I said, I know everybody. Oh, so they have lines on everything. Except these. The lumbericals do. Wow, boy, hand muscles are weird, aren't they? So anyway, I didn't really think about it, so I didn't wear a mask. I didn't notice until I was leaving that they had masks at the front that you could take, or I probably would have taken one. So I felt kind of bad because one of the employees there had a mask on, and I felt bad because I thought, oh man, then that's, you know, I don't want it to seem like I'm not respectful of the fact that there are people that are rightly, I mean, I'm still concerned about it. I wear a mask almost everywhere. Like I said, this was an exception because I knew all these people were, you know, being safe and vaccinated and all the rest of it, so I didn't really think anything of it. And that was my fault. I actually do feel bad about that. Not that anybody said anything, nobody made me feel bad or anything like that, but there was a part of me that went, yeah, you should have just worn one. You should have just worn one because I'm used to it now, too. That's the other thing. It's one of the reasons that I generally wear a mask everywhere is I'm used to it at this point, which is not me saying that everybody should wear one. Everybody has to make their own decisions. But I'm just so used to it now that I am largely more comfortable with a mask on than not. So I generally still wear one everywhere. You know, we're going to be probably flying at some point back to New York to see my family. I guarantee I'll have one on the plane. I don't know if anybody else will. Although I said that last time, and a lot of people did. A lot more than I thought. And I still see, I'm actually pretty pleased with how often I still see masks around. You know, because if for no other reason, it shows that people still take the health of others seriously. And I have no idea. Those people may have, immune-compromised conditions or anything. I don't know. None of my business. It doesn't matter. It has absolutely no bearing on why they should or shouldn't feel like they should do something. They should do what makes them comfortable. So, I don't care. Like I said, I almost did, and now I kind of felt when I saw that employee, I went, I should have done it. I should have done it just out of respect for that person. And I did feel bad about it. And I actually almost apologized to the individual, but I didn't want to make that person feel bad, like they were, you know. I just had a hunch that it wouldn't actually accomplish the goal, but which was me saying, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't respect the fact that you have a concern here, which is what it was. But outside of that again, there was nothing, any type of indication of anything, so I don't want to make it sound for even a second like anybody made me feel bad about anything. It absolutely wasn't. It was great. It was. I'm sorry, I'm looking at hand muscles again. In particular, I'm going to look at the thumb muscle there. So I want to see it. I know there's some side images that show. Here we go. Oh yeah, okay. So it just winds up like that. Interesting. Oh yeah, no, it's just all banded. There's just all banded muscle. This is so fascinating to me. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. So it is. It's all except for those big things. All right, got it. So it was great. It was a great experience. It really was. It was great to be there and have that live energy and see everybody and be part of a live thing. And I know that, and I don't think there's this is not secret whatsoever, but they are probably not going to have a studio after the lease on the current place is up, because it really just doesn't make sense in the world anymore. They bought that studio and started up back when there was no COVID, before everybody was doing remote stuff. It was a much different world when that studio was originally spun up. It was it was a literal different world. Oh, let me do that real quick. So I understand that. It makes sense. There's a bit of, I sit there and go, oh, it's too bad. But at the same time, and I discussed this with them a little bit while I was there, Leo Laporte, I should say, and some of the other people that were there. And I essentially have said, I do have to write them a thank you note too, because they were so gracious too. They gave us gift bags, which they really did. I was not expecting gift bags. So I do have to write them a thank you note, because that's how my mother raised me. But yeah, they probably will not have a studio after this one. This will probably be the last studio for the network that exists. And that will be kind of the end of an era, because I have seen Leo in particular in... I don't know if the studio in San Francisco, which was the home of Tech TV at the time, boy, I remember that so clearly. I remember it was so cool. It was so cool to go to a place and it was a nerd TV network. That was so unusual at the time. Again, you have to remember that this was early days of this stuff, and you certainly didn't have the streaming the way you do now and everything else. It is a radically different world now than it was. Oh, when was that? That had to be back in 03, 04, something like that. 20 years ago, which makes me feel tremendously old, but it is the truth. It is the way it is. And that at that time was it was so cool to be there. It really was. And then this, it was a real TV station. Small scale. It wasn't a huge studio or anything like that, but it was a real TV studio. And, you saw them doing their work, and it was really neat. It was a really neat time. And then G4 acquired it. This is a history of Leo Laporte's move from Tech TV to independent podcasting. For anybody who's tuning in late, that's what you're getting here. And then G4 acquired Tech TV, and at that point, I think what they wanted to offer Leo to stay was probably an insult. I wouldn't be shocked. G4 is not a brand I associate much quality with, having seen what they did with Tech TV afterwards. So, in any event, Leo left. And I saw one of what ended up being, I think when I saw that show, which I remember very vividly because the show featured somebody with slide rules, which was just so funny to me, that the episode I saw of a television network that was focused on high-tech stuff was one where they were doing stuff with slide rules. I just found that to be delightfully funny. And we didn't know that at the time. It hadn't been publicly announced in any way. But that was shortly thereafter it came out that Leo would be leaving, which was a really big deal because he was the face of the show. I mean, it's hard to state it now because if you weren't around at the time, it wouldn't make any sense. This whole thing is a step back into my youth or younger days. But for Leo leaving Tech TV was a huge deal. Huge deal. I'm trying to think of a modern equivalent for something like it. I'm really struggling to get these lines to do what I want them to do. Obviously, you can tell. Who would be the equivalent of something like that today? Who is that associated? Well, I guess if you're a fan of Red Letter Media, it would be like if one of the core 4 of the Red Letter Media guys left. Imagine if Mike left the show, or if Rich left the show, or Jay, or Josh. Maybe those aren't considered the core 4. I think those guys are the core 4. Don't get me wrong, I like Jack a lot, but Jack has his own stuff going on, and there's other contributors, obviously, other regulars, but that to me is like Red Letter Media is those 4 guys. It really is the 3 guys, but Josh is regular enough that I think I consider him. So let's just say if Mike or Rich left Red Letter Media, that's the equivalent of Leo leaving Tech TV. That's what it is. That was how big a deal it was. And I mean, that was a huge signal to fans of, okay, there's something going on here. And sure enough, I mean, G4 managed to destroy the network. Not all at once, but they just slowly, more and more people left. They whittled everything down, and it was a much different network. I mean, it's so hard to really explain, to the point where I'm probably doing a terrible job of it, but it's very difficult to explain what made that network so special. And it was just such a different thing at the time. At least to my mind it was. That is masked. Yeah, we'll go ahead and mask it then instead of erasing. Let's mask that. There we go. And there's been nothing like it since. I mean, now it's all online. And TV itself has completely changed. So it's a completely different world. So these are memories of something that inevitably would have gone away. Tech TV could never have lasted. Because of its technology focus, it would inevitably have become streaming of some kind. It would have changed. So it was, but for that time, it's really hard to even think of an equivalent for something like that. Because at the time, there wasn't anything. There were and there really, I mean, I would argue there really, since have not been any real stations like that where you had technology stuff that was so much the focus of a TV network. It was awesome. It was great. And I'm not really complaining necessarily. I got to see it. I got to go there. And then I saw one of the first, if not the first, but I think it was the first one. The first of what became Twit TV later. And at that time, they were calling it the Return of the Screensavers, which they weren't really legally allowed to use. So that got changed very quickly. But they did a big reunion show with a lot of the regulars who had been on Tech TV. And that was in an Apple store in San Francisco. And I got to see that, which was great. And got to talk to Patrick Norton and Leo for a little bit after that. And then they did the Twit Brick House, which was in Petaluma, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was in the same place, the same town, or same city, I should say, just in a different location. And I actually bought a brick at the Brick House. That had been within a few years of my dad dying, so I bought it in his memory. And I went there and I took a picture of it, and which I still have that picture. And that was a big thing for me to have that thing for my dad there. And then I think with that, they were forced to leave, or they jacked the rent way up. I don't remember the particulars of that, but I seem to think that it wasn't even that they wanted to leave, it was just a necessity. But then they left that and they went over to the East Side Studios. And I had never gotten to see that because then COVID hit and everything else. And so it was just never, it wasn't possible for a long time. And so when they opened this up, I thought, yeah, okay. And I think they have a lease. I believe their lease is through, I didn't ask this specifically, but I think it's through next year. And if it is, because this was the 19th anniversary of the Twitch show, if they do in fact have a 20th year there, I will go back for that, assuming they have people there, assuming nothing happens or anything else like that. Then I will go for that, just to be there for the 20th anniversary, because that's pretty awesome. But yes, I do. I still have these vivid memories of Tech TV when it was on, and it was such a cool thing. So, like I said, unlike a lot of anything else that's been, especially because it came towards the end of the real era of television, because now, of course, we're in the streaming era and everything else, and all that stuff is gone. I do miss it to some extent. I miss things like that. There was something special about that network and the people that were on it, and I mean, many of them have gone on to do bigger and better things as well. Likely, a lot of those people are still doing shows and doing different podcasts, and many of them are, actually, many of them might be people that, depending on what you listen to, you might actually know and didn't realize they were ever on Tech TV. I don't know how much some of them even talk about it, because now it's so long ago, and really not everybody remembers it and that type of thing, but I remember it very vividly. But yes, I remember being in that the Czech TV studio, which was this little studio in a building, which I don't even remember I'm sure the building had some kind of signage or something indicating that it was Tech TV, but it was just this little place. Yeah, and I remember I almost lost my cell phone because I left it in the cab that I had taken there, didn't realize it, and luckily the guy didn't get that far. I think he made it about 50 feet and he was at a stop sign or a stop light, and I was able to catch up to him, because, man, that would have been something. I'll take a sip of water real quick. But, yeah. And with my total lack of any directional sense whatsoever, I would have been in some real trouble. Real trouble. I didn't suddenly go mute. When I do long lines, I have to stop and concentrate. If I'm talking, they'll be all over the place. So just bear with me a minute. There we go. So yeah, if you're interested in such things, a lot of the Tech TV older, not a lot, but there's a good amount of the old Tech TV episodes that you can actually find over on archive.org and YouTube, and you can see them, and yeah, they're cool. If you're into that stuff. If you're into tech stuff and, some of the kind of history of, I guess it would be, you'd call it tech broadcasting. I suppose that's exactly what it is, right? It's got to be what it's called, or that's what you would classify it as. So yeah, that's a fun little trip to take if you've never, and I'm sure most people now probably never heard of it, unless you're a certain age. And even then, I don't know how. I remember watching. They aired episodes of Max Headroom when nobody else was airing it. I remember that. That was awesome. In fact, if you look up like Max Headroom episodes, you'll see the Tech TV watermark on a lot of them, because Tech TV was the only ones airing it for a long time, especially before it was released, where you could actually buy it again. They were the only ones airing that stuff. So I remember early on that I had pirated versions of Max Headroom, not in great quality, but that had the Tech TV logo on them, and that was the only way you could watch them. Of course, now they're available and you can buy them, and you should, because Max Headroom's a great show. But at the time, nope, it was not. You could not find that thing anywhere. Nobody was releasing. That was before they started releasing everything. So again, a much different time, and one of the reasons why it's like, well, not always great to go back, because I remember trying to find physical releases of things and find obscure shows was impossible. You didn't have. Back then, there was no Vinegar Syndrome. There was no Severin Films. There weren't all these different. There wasn't archive.org like there is now, the Internet Archive. You couldn't find any of this stuff, So if you wanted to watch a really great show, you might not have any avenue to do it. Now you do. So I don't want to make it like I'm saying, oh, the good old days. I wish I was going back to that. No, I'm not saying that at all. It's a very tempting and deceiving mindset, is to have this idea that to go back means it'll all be better. No, there's bad stuff too. I remember that. You know, you couldn't. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't great. Oh, that's an eraser. A lot of stuff that wasn't great. For one thing, not a lot of high-speed internet. Certainly not like we were used to today. You weren't going to be streaming anything over that. I mean, there was high-speed internet, but it was cost you an arm and a leg, and high speed was a laughable term at that point compared to what it is today. So that's what I mean about nostalgia. It's great and it's terrible, because you tend to focus on the really good stuff, and you tend to forget that there's a lot of bad stuff in there too. So I don't have blind nostalgia the way I think some people, they get into this thing and they're like, oh, if only I could go back, it would be so much better. Would I like to, if I had the opportunity, if somebody came to me with a time machine and said, would you like to go back to, you know, a certain period of time and relive a few days? Sure. A few days. It's like going to a place as a vacation. Like, sure, would I like to go back and relive that time where I went to Tech TV and saw that? Sure, I'd love to, just to refresh my memory of it, because it was such a neat thing and it's got this very special place in my heart. But would I want to stay in that time? No. Nope. Even though I was younger. But, you know, there's lots that's better now. A lot that's better now. So I don't get caught up in that. There is a real nostalgia vacuum that some people fall into, and I don't. I definitely do not have that. I miss those days, but I also don't miss them that much. I don't miss them blindly. I'll say it like that. I am well aware that there are limitations to how good things were. I mean, there are some things I wish were like they were back then, but that's delving into larger issues that we don't want to. I mean, pre-pandemic, would I like to go back to not being as much of a, I mean, I'm not a full-on germaphobe, I wouldn't say that, but I certainly have a much different view of the world than I used to, thanks to COVID. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us do. I was listening to, I think it was Len Kaczynski's latest YouTube video. As of this live stream, obviously, by the time it comes out in the archived form, there will be many more from him, but... And he was talking about the pandemic and the fact that he's like, you know, that we're still suffering through. And he was right. I mean, that's exactly the right term for it. It's not over with. And it's very weird to think of the time before that, where, I mean, I never thought about a lot of stuff. I still, and I know some people think this is nuts. And, you know, they're entitled to think so. But I remember I went to, while the pandemic was still in full swing, like 2021, I went in for a physical and I was talking to my doctor. You know, and that was, at that point, because early on, they didn't even know if it was, that you could get it through food. I mean, this is the thing that's easy to forget, is how panicky it was at first. For some people, anyway. And there was a point where they very quickly said, okay, it's not being transmitted by food. Then you had the, you know, DoorDash and all the rest of it boomed off of that, because that, as soon as they knew that, then you could get delivery, and that was a huge rush there. But they didn't know it at first. There was concern that it could be foodborne. And then could you imagine what a mess that would be? It really is pretty frightening to think about. Okay, now you have to screen all your, I mean, it would just, oh boy, what a disaster. So that was the first lucky bit. And then for a while, as anybody who remembers might recall this, that, you know, they thought that surfaces were carrying it a lot more. That, you know, if you touched a door handle after somebody, that it was just as contagious. And then they figured out eventually it was airborne. The air part is the really important part, is the viral load in the air. That's the thing that matters. But one of the things, I'm getting sidetracked in my sidetrack, one of the things from that is I remember I went in for a physical. And of course, you know, my doctor's mask gloved, I'm mask gloved. It was all these procedures. They were taking your temperature. You had to have had our place, which I actually appreciated, wanted you to take a test the morning of and take a picture of it so they could see it, like all this stuff, which I was fine with. I mean, I had no problem with it. Getting a drink real quick. But then when I was talking to my doctor, and, you know, this is when a lot of they had really kind of realized and proven a few things about it. And so I remember I said something about, yeah, you know, I'm just happy that that they found that the primary transmission vector isn't surfaces. I said, because, you know, it's tough. And at that point, like I think a lot of people, my hands were so destroyed from washing them. They were so bad. And I remember he's like, well, he said, it's true that this particular thing is not associated as much with surfaces, but he said the one place that you should always be careful is a gas pump. And I said, really? He said, yeah. Gas pumps are among the filthiest things you could ever touch in your life because, you know, the surfaces of them are often they retain, they're like porous, or I don't remember what he was talking about, but like, you know, how the rubber covers or whatever on them. You know, he said, no, germs can live on that for a long time. He said, you know, people don't think about washing their hands before or after using a gas pump. It's like a lot of times, you know, it's just, he said that is probably one of the worst surfaces you could put your hands on. And that stuck with me. So now, to this day, I still, when I pump gas, I wear a glove on that hand. I am sure that people who see it think I'm nuts. I just have a glove on. I have a box of medical gloves, and really the only thing I use it for is that. But I do use it every time because I look at that pump handle now, and all I can think about is what he was telling me about how filthy those pump handles are. So I still wear basically a medical or latex glove when I pump my gas on the pump hand. It's one of the few. I mean, I still wear a mask, but that's common. Like that doesn't feel unusual to me anymore. That doesn't seem like I don't know that would stand out to people as a sign of somebody who's really gone overboard. But the glove hand for the gas pump, yeah, I feel like that's one where if people saw that, when people see that, they're like, oh, okay, somebody's paranoid, and they're right. I am. Can't lie and tell you I'm not. I am. But I will say, the only thing about that is, unlike a lot of people's paranoia, that one came from my doctor, who I trust for medical advice, not a YouTube channel somewhere that, you know, tried to sell me seeds and tell me that pump handles are evil and dirty. That one came from a doctor. Therefore, I put it into a bit of an exception bucket to where a lot of people get their information from, is all I'm saying. But that's just me. That's just me. And that's, you know, I probably could, just because I can't, you know, like most people, it's not like I can immediately or usually wash my hands right after touching a gas pump handle. If I did, I probably wouldn't wear the glove. If they had a little washing station right next to it where you could replace the pump and then wash your hands, then I wouldn't wear a glove. I'd just wash my hands immediately. You know, but they don't. At least it's not common out here, and I've never seen one anywhere. So I'm assuming most places don't have it. So hold on. See, that's when I talk and do it. Let me just do it here. Just a second. So since that's not a easily available feature, I go with the next best thing, which is eliminate the need to wash the hand at all. Wear a glove. But even I have to admit, I'm sure that, I forgot there's things up here. And my dog, I got dog hair, like a little dog hair floating in my nose. Oh, it's so itchy. Hold on. It's killing me. Hold on. I think it's on my glasses. Oh, man. Woo. Oh, I love my dog, but when her hair gets in my nose, it's just this very specific kind of itching. Oh, boy. Okay. All right, where are we here? Oh, we're only 39 minutes. Jeez, it feels like I've been talking forever. I'm sure most people feel like I've been talking forever, too. Like, yeah, it feels like you've been talking forever, man. Shut up. Got your weird glove. Yeah. Oh, I'm on eraser. There we go. Okay. I curved it too much at the end. I was doing fine until I got there. Let's try this again. There we go. Kind of angle it just slightly. That was better. I don't like the top of this, but I can fix that independently. I'll cheat a little bit. Normally I like to have one continuous line, but I can I could make an exception for that because honestly, it's not going to matter all that much. There we go. That's fine. Okay. Nice. All right, there we go. It's tough to do these long lines. This is tough to do, I have to admit. That's why I'm not talking, because I really want to try to get it smooth here. So hold on a minute. There we go. Doing all right, doing all right. So far, so good. Okay, I don't need to go from up there for the next one. No. So one more. There we go. Yeah, not bad. I usually don't do that well for that type of stuff. It's usually a lot worse. I usually have to redo it a lot more times. Did I miss those? I sure did. So yes, where I was starting off with that long rambling pandemic story was, you know, just to be in the world as it was before all this stuff. You know, before a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that there are elements of, I mean, just like everything, there are elements of the past that I wish could come back, and there's a lot that I don't. A lot of stuff that I'm like, nope, that is better left in the past. Especially in my particular case, I was a really stupid young person at times. I made a lot of really dumb decisions. So I don't want to go back and relive that, because honestly, looking back at it now, I'm just sitting here going, what was wrong with me? Never anything, you know, it's not like I ever killed anybody or anything like that, but it's still, you just look back sometimes, you're like, well, I know why. Because when you're young, you think you're invincible, you don't have any responsibility. And at least in my case, had a very dull sense of empathy and understanding what my actions, the effects they had on others. So I think a lot of people are like that when you're young. You don't really think about what you're doing so much. And that's why you do certain things. Okay, these actually came out way better than I thought. I usually don't do that well at that. So let me go ahead and merge these down. I'll call these, I don't know. I'm going to call them running lines. I don't know why, but that's the phrase that comes to mind. There we go. So we got running line. I know what it means. It doesn't matter to anybody else. It only matters that I know what it means. Okay. Another drink of water there. What are we at here? We are at 40. You know what? I think that's a good place. I just got through a really good segment of stuff. Did a little bit of reminiscing for the past, but not ridiculously so. Move these in a little bit and give myself a little bit of a layer cushion. That'll increase my layer count. And I think I'm going to bring the stream to a close here, having just done all those lines. Yep, doing well. We're doing well. It's proceeding. Probably get into these thicker detail lines next time, but I really want to get those subdermal lines in. I think they look good. They make sense to me. They give a nice little bit of texture to the piece. So yeah, I think that's a good place to go ahead and bring this stream to a close. So I will click on this thing right here. There we are. And thank you for... Actually, I don't think anybody turned it live, but that's okay. I really don't care. You could be watching this months later, and that's fine too. That counts too. Actually, I'm really happy, I have to say, with the fact that my YouTube numbers... I don't say, oh, smash that like button, subscribe. I don't do anything like that. I don't. Oh boy, I just got a nasty case of the hiccup. Sorry, geez, that must sound great on the mic. Sorry. Oh, where did that come from? Jeez. Oh, maybe with the hiccups, cough. Yeah, I definitely have like the hiccups going now, so I picked the right time to stop, because hearing me go through a whole stream would, I guess it would be different, but it wouldn't be good. Anyway, yeah, I've been seeing a nice increase in the podcast, or not podcast, the YouTube numbers. Where instead, I mean, the podcast channel just broke 100. Oh, jeez, sorry. Broke 100 subscribers again, without me plastering and saying, please like, subscribe, whatever. But I'm really impressed with the fact that the thing is growing at all. And then on the art channel, this channel that this is streaming from, I think that's up to 22. Again, for a channel it's not that old. And that I'm not doing any type of real promotion of. Which, you know, could I grow it faster? I probably could, but I like the fact that it's growing organically. I hope people are actually enjoying the content, and that's why they're actually subscribing, as opposed to me screaming like and subscribe at them all the time. I mean, whatever. Everybody does their thing. I'm not trying to criticize anybody else for how they do their stuff. I know that's how it works for people who are trying to make a living on this thing, but honestly, I just approach this as a fun thing to do. And so the fact that people seem to be finding it and enjoying it organically, I am good with that. It's fine with me. So, anyway, thank you for coming by, whether it's live or later, doesn't matter to me. I'm just amazed that I can even keep doing this, because I always feel like when I start these streams that I'll have nothing to say and that my drawings will go terribly, and yet I managed to... Okay, I'll tell this very quickly. So the whole point of me starting that Twitch story was I said that I posted a time-lapse of the birthday cake that I drew for it. That was the point of that story 40-something minutes ago that I never even got to. So that is on the channel already. I posted that the day after of the time-lapse of me doing the cake illustration. So I hope I get to go back and do one for the 20th. I'll try to do something a little bit more grandiose, perhaps. Something a little bit more... I mean, don't get me wrong, that show was about... How long was that show? Let me take a look right here. Because I basically started... I'm just curious how long. Because I had the pencil sketch of it in place. I was ready with that. And the show itself was... Let me see here. Hit play. The show... Does it tell you how long it was? I have to hit play to get the duration. Okay, sorry. The show length was, it's posted as 2 hours, 40 minutes. So the reality is it was probably around 3 hours, probably just shy. I started that drawing when the show started, or right before, and I finished it within minutes of it ending. So it was about a 3-hour just drawing session, while I was also doing some live stickering, as they call it. Little stickers I make for the shows that they like, that I make. So that's on the time lapse. That is up if you want to go look at that. And you'll see it obviously sped way up, but I'd like to go back if they do have people back in the studio for the 20th, and I'll probably go back and draw something. I'll try to think of something fun to draw that'll be a little different. But anyway, like I said, started that story way back and never even got to the point of it till just now. So thank you for coming by and watching. Appreciate you hanging out, whether it's again, when the show is live or not, doesn't make any difference to me. I'm just happy if people experience some creativity. I think it's such a vital and important thing for all of us. So I'm just happy when people come by, whenever they come by. On that note, until the next stream, insert text here until I can figure out what to stay. Insert text here until I can figure out what to say. And until then, take care.